It's the end of the world as we know it, people. The Vancouver Canucks have lost a preseason game, and now it's time to burn the city to the ground like we did in 1994, like we did in 2011. Okay, maybe not that bad. In fact, maybe it's not even that serious, right? It's a preseason game. Come on, folks. Look, I know it's Vancouver nature to overreact to every small, insignificant little thing. And even a game like this, a preseason game against the Seattle Kraken, look, in the grand scheme of things, this was a small and insignificant game. But it was the first Vancouver hockey game that wasn't strictly a prospect game that we've seen in months. So of course, fans are going to be attentive. Now, with that being said, I think we do have to acknowledge the fact that this Seattle opponent that Vancouver played off against was really close to the regular old Seattle Kraken team. Spare Jared McCann and maybe a few other names, this Kraken team was essentially their normal team with a few prospects. I mean, just reading off the names: Jordan Eberle, Matty Beniers, Jaden Schwartz, Shane Wright, Capo Kakko, Larson, Oleksiak, Dunn, Riker Evans, D'Accord. I mean, the Vancouver Canucks' most experienced players were Kiefer Sherwood, Teddy Bluger, and Höglander, and they didn't have many of those. So, ultimately, what is essentially Vancouver's AHL team loses 5-3 in this contest against the Seattle Kraken, and when thinking about what this game really means, of course, the loss itself doesn't mean much, but the opportunity the game showcased to some players really did mean a lot. Things started out in the first period with Eduard Sale, former top prospect in the 2023 NHL Entry Draft, who got things started on a 2-on-1 rush. The puck kind of bounced around a little bit in the neutral zone, the defense was kind of caught, and eventually it was Shala who walked right in and sniped it top right on Nikita Tolopilo. That's the only goal that Tolopilo let in, because as the game continued, Tolopilo made a lot of really nice, impressive saves, play-controlling saves. This guy was dialed in. He had 14 shots against, and he had 13 total saves. The only goal that beat him was that Shala shot. He was so solid, that Nikita Tolopilo, and inevitably he was still in net when the Vancouver Canucks tied things up on the power play. I will say, power play effectiveness, you did have some guys displaying lethality more than others. Jonathan Lekaramaki was able to walk in with a wrist shot that went off the bar. He was really close a few times, but ultimately I don't think he had the best game, all things considered. However, scoring on the man advantage in the second period was none other than Victor Mancini, or Vittorio Mancini, who goes back and forth with Braden Coots on the top of the umbrella. Mancini has a lane, he walks right in down the right side and then fires it by Joey D'Accord. That's an NHL goaltender that the young Mancini just beat on the power play. Really nice shot, making it 1-1. Assists go out to Braden Coots and Kiefer Sherwood. Now, we can talk a little bit more about Coots and Sherwood as the video goes on, but I wanted to shift gears a little bit because after this point, Nikita Tolopilo got swapped out at around the halfway mark of the game, and Ty Young enters the frame. Now, Ty Young, if y'all have been paying attention, played the majority of his season last year in the ECHL with the Kalamazoo Wings. He did have a brief call-up to the Abbotsford Canucks where he was pretty good, but for the most part, this is an ECHL, AHL tweener goaltender that's stepping in against a regular old Seattle Kraken team. And the Kraken just started cracking. Immediately, first shot towards Ty Young, it is a tip-in drive. Capo Kakko goes towards the front of the goal, and it's a backdoor tap-in for Jani Nyman. Beautiful play. None of the Canucks backcheckers were able to get a hand on that pass. It goes right over to the far post, and Nyman is there. Tough look for Young because it's such a difficult shot, but then things get a little bit worse. Just 3 minutes later, you have Shane Wright on the power play. Eventually, the power play expires, and Victor Mancini, who served it, was trying to get back into the fray. Shane Wright goes down to Jaden Schwartz, who is right in front of the goal, and he roofs a backhander up high into the net past Ty Young. A really tight angle, a really difficult shot to see coming, but for Ty Young, it was right in front of him, point-blank range, and Jaden Schwartz makes it 3-1. Not a power play goal technically, but Mancini was skating back, so he wasn't in the play. And then just another, 40 seconds after that, you had Jani Nyman getting yet another goal. This time, it's not a tap-in backdoor. He gets a feed right on the left face-off circle, and he hammers it down. Nice play by Vince Dunn and Kaapo Kakko to get the cycle going. Kakko gets his second assist of the night on the matter, and it's Jani Nyman who wires it in. Really tough break for Ty Young to open up the first 4 or 5 minutes of play that he's had in this preseason. And a lot of Canucks fans start to sour on the game immediately after that. Man, Tolopilo was so good. Ty Young is not good. He's an ECHL guy playing off against a majority NHL rostered team. What else can you expect? Inevitably, though, the Canucks get the last laugh in the second period as Chase Stillman gets a penalty shot. He's the guy that Vancouver received in the Artur Shilov's trade, and he does a really nice dipsy-do little 5-hole through-the-wickets shot on the penalty shot to beat Joey D'Accord. Again, that's an NHL-caliber goaltender who ended up letting this one go. Pretty good showcase there for Chase Stillman. In the third period, you saw Ty Young give up yet another goal. This one was John Hayden right out in front. It's a really good passing play by Seattle off the face-off. Hayden wins the draw and then just goes right to the front of the net, gets the pass from Oscar Fisker-Molgaard, and it's really difficult for Ty Young to stop those backdoor plays. But inevitably, Vancouver gets another one on the board themselves to make it 5-3. It is Nils Aman assisted by Joseph Labate and Pierre-Olivier Joseph. Joseph goes down to Labate, and then he goes right across the slot to Aman. It's a really nice tic-tac-toe, and it makes the Canucks get on the board a third time. Vancouver had some pressure towards the end of the game here, but ultimately were not able to convert. There were a bunch of guys that stood out in a pretty good way. Tolopilo looked awesome. Braden Coots stood out in a very good way too. That Elias Pettersson and Mancini duo I thought was really, really effective. Tom Wielander I thought could have been a bit better. Honestly, there were a few turnovers, but he ended up blocking the shots afterwards, so I thought that was fine. I would like to see him elevate his game a little bit more as the games go on. Arshdeep Bains had a few moments where he didn't really look all too great. There was a 2-on-1 rush that he had where he ended up bobbling the puck and over-skating it, which totally eliminated the chance. Ty Young, as we had said, could have been a lot better, but then again, ECHL goaltender. And then for the NHL guys, Nils Höglander had a really good opportunity to bury an open shot off a rebound, but he wasn't able to corral the puck and settle it to get the shot through. Kiefer Sherwood, you could still see that dog in him, although a lot of that was subdued. Even on the 6-on-5, he wasn't really pushing it as much. He doesn't play 6-on-5 generally when the Canucks have an empty net, but still, he was out there. Teddy Bluger, not really noticeable, but I don't think that's a bad thing per se. Drew O'Connor did have some good rushes as well, but ultimately, it is Vancouver walking out of this game with some more confidence in Nikita Tolopilo. I think that's the biggest takeaway you can have from this contest here. Ty Young is probably going to need to work on things a little bit more, although you could debate that this roster that he faced was just so NHL caliber that maybe it's not his fault. Still, though, Nikita Tolopilo was able to handle it, and he looked pretty strong in the first half of the contest. It's going to be all about Nikita Tolopilo here, despite the fact that the Vancouver Canucks ended up losing 5-3. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this hockey game over here. I got no extra things to say about the broadcasting. I think it is what it is. We were kind of expecting this kind of broadcast from these preseason games, so c'est la vie, am I right? If you enjoyed this video, please leave a rating. If you did not enjoy this video, then hey, you can also leave a rating. Dislikes help too. But leave a comment as well in regards to what your thoughts are on this Canucks and Kraken game. It helps us out with the algorithm. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.